We finally have the sit down.
Finally.
It's been a long time coming.
Too long.
So we're in the process of launching the Entrepreneur podcast.
Yeah. I'm excited.
A podcast that has been in our minds and our hearts for a while now. So for the fact that we're actually doing this very first recording it's about time.
It's long overdue. I've been dreaming about this for a long time. I attempted a few episodes, but I just never had the right partner to work with. And I think since we've been chatting, you and I,
actually, let me get comfortable like
confident.
you. I'm just like laid back.
That's how you do it. Yeah. No, it's great. I think you've been doing some good work in the space, and it's not just that you're building a podcast. It's you've been promoting small businesses also.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's a very South African way of doing it. I love that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I appreciate the fact that you're jumping on board with me on this, because this topic is such an important topic that I feel South Africans still don't take seriously enough. So the more content of this nature that is put out there, the better actually it is for South Africa as a whole.
Yeah. I had a radio interview this morning, and the topic was, what can modern youth learn from June 16th, 1970, my history, 76 or 74?
76.
76,
yeah.
Right? And it's very simple. There's a very clear comparison. The youth in that time were fighting against an enemy, which was apartheid.
Yeah.
Today's youth are fighting against a more formidable enemy, which is poverty, economic exclusion. And that's why I feel like what you're saying is so relevant. We don't take this thing seriously enough.
I don't know if the country is waiting for a moment where there's just a boiling point for people to have epiphanies, or I don't know what the word is, but I think that's where we could be headed. But we're actually going very deep while it's still early. I'm just still trying to
That was a bit scary where you went. Bit scary.
But the whole point of the Entrepreneur podcast is not just to talk to entrepreneurs alone or thought leaders alone. We want to include every single person possible. We want to include the unemployed person that's sitting at home. We want to include the full-time mother who's working at a bank somewhere. We want to include the street vendor down the street. Every single person who's thought about entrepreneurship and who hasn't, because it does affect them whether they're aware of it or not.
It does. I'm glad you mentioned all those categories, because those are precisely the people that I've been trying to speak to for a long time, and we have been making good progress. It's like this. See, we have the world record currently for the highest youth unemployment rate. Number one. We're also
It's almost hitting 50%.
60.
50. It's 46 currently. It's almost at 50.
Okay, my AI told me it's 60. Maybe it dreamt that up. But anyways, it's bad, right?
Yeah.
The second thing is, we got another world record, the highest wealth inequality in the world.
Yeah.
Highest. Top 15% own 70% of the country's wealth. Now you're wondering, where's all the money?
Yeah.
Economy is not bad. It's just the money is skewed. So where do we go from here? I'd say this. If we think the government is going to solve this problem, it's like saying in 1976, the government was going to sort out apartheid. It's not going to happen. It's the man on the street.
Yeah.
It's the man on the street. It's the youth especially. And entrepreneurship is the solution.
It is the solution. So I don't know if it's done so already, but I feel it's very important for it to even be a subject on its own in schools, in high schools more especially. Maybe even break it down, divide it, like talk about agriculture and all the other sectors within entrepreneurship that a person could dwell in. I do understand that the South African education system is not ready for that because of the traditional education system that we've been operating on for the longest time. But things need to change.
You can see my expression change.
I can see.
Because you're talking about my biggest enemy.
The face of disgust.
My biggest enemy is South Africa's education system. Okay, and I'll tell you how good this education is, right? Complete my sentence. Humpty Dumpty.
Yes, that's on the wall.
Right, why do you know that?
Because
That's some bullshit European nonsense, right? But you know it and I know it because we've been taught that. This is a colonized system designed and created by the colonists to make sure that you and I know how great they are.
Yeah.
And how bad African culture is, how backward Indian culture is, but European culture is tops. Yet our cultures were around like thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I heard something interesting. That when the biblical Adam and Eve were sent to earth, you know, they were banished from heaven and they were sent to earth.
Yeah.
Where did they land? Southern Africa.
Really?
Really, there's actually evidence, or if you believe in evolution, then evolution started here, right?
Oh, wow, okay.
But if you believe in creation, then Adam and Eve started here, probably African, and they moved out. So there's only the only people in the world that are not immigrants.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? So, but look, there's been a deliberate effort to wipe out other cultures and prop up the dominant global culture, which is Western culture, as the champion. But we can undo that.
We can. I was actually very impressed today driving here. There's a radio station, a national radio station, that was encouraging business owners to start sending in voice notes talking about their businesses. You have strictly 20 seconds, whether it's a voice note or whether you're calling in live. They want to give this opportunity to small businesses because they understand the situation that the country is currently in. And I was thinking, wow, this is phenomenal. This is great change. They never would have allowed this. I mean, a good 5 years ago, even 6 months ago, they would not have allowed this. But they can see the change in our social sphere that, okay, this is actually very necessary. We need to start letting people know that you need to start doing things for yourself.
I love that. And that's what I want to do. I mean, we were just talking about it earlier. I want this podcast to grow to millions of views, and then we give small businesses exposure here.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that when I mentor my students, the biggest problem they have is access to markets.
Exactly.
And if you can help them with that, why not?
Exactly.
But I also think there's another side to it, right? We need to support local. I mean, there's a lady running a little spaza shop or a table. Please go there. Please go there rather than to the big chain supermarket, because she's from the community, earning in the community, and more importantly, spending in the community.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
I mean, if you get a young lady that or a young man that leaves the township, gets a job in the city, like for example, they live, Alex and they go to Sandton, where you think they're going to work? I mean, live in Sandton. They're going to spend over there.
Yeah.
They're going to bring up their children there. Alex just lost someone. But if that person started a business in Alex, then remember they are spending there, they are hiring there, they are living there, and they are redistributing the wealth inside there.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship, that's the way to go.
So there's a clip I saw on TikTok, because that's the one thing that makes people, or makes them refrain from venturing into business. People are always thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have a business idea. What could I possibly venture into? And then there's a gentleman who spoke, who said, you can do traditional business. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You need to see within your community what works in that space, in that business space, and literally copy what they do, but like add your own brand personality, whatever you want to call it, into it. You don't want to try something that hasn't worked before. Yeah. For example, he was doing into funeral services, because that's a very big industry as well, and it's flourishing, but he's saying he's doing it his way. So you don't have to be an Einstein and think of some remarkable business idea. You can literally just see what's working for that neighbor across the street and try it your own way. And then, because the apple is quite huge. There's enough for everyone. There's no need for being, phenomenal and doing something crazy and out of this world.
Yeah, that's so true. But can I make a dad joke on our episodes?
Yeah.
Somebody asked the funeral service owner, how's business? He said, dead. Sorry, dad joke. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to compose myself. I think coming to that point, this is a place people, I don't know, it's that limited mindset that we've been taught at school. Scarce resources, there's not enough oil, there's not enough gold, there's not enough land. Where's this coming from? This is coming from school.
From school.
But if you have the abundance mindset where there's not enough, there's more than enough, then you won't be afraid of things like that. A lot of people, they say, I have this idea, I want to open a business, but there's one guy in my city that's already doing it. Who cares? There's always place for one more.
Yeah.
I mean, go to Queen Street in Durban. I think it's Queen Street. I don't know what's the new name. And you'll see hardware. And guess what? They're all doing well. Because there's always place for one more.
Yeah.
And we must shed that whole idea of scarcity and embrace abundance. That's actually deliberate, you know that? It's deliberate. Because in the Industrial Revolution, they made the peasants, I'm talking about in Europe, in UK, they made the peasants scared that your farm, something is going to go wrong, the soil is changing, whatever. So you need to go and work where? In the factories, where the capitalists needed laborers. So these people were happy, they were independent, they were growing their own food, eating some, selling some, but they scared them into going into working in the factories. So now what they're going to tell you, what's the modern equivalent? No, don't start your own business. It's terrible. Business is bad. Economy is bad. Yet, Amazon is in the country. They just bought out the other half of Walmart. No. That was Walmart.
Yeah.
They bought out the other half of Game and Macro, Massmart.
Okay. Yeah.
So they had 50% shares. Now they bought the other 50%. Amazon just came in the country. Why? Starlink is trying to get in the country. Why are all these Americans trying to get into this dead continent with no money, with no future? You see what I mean?
Makes you think. So, that is very interesting. He is actually a teacher or lecturer as well. So every now and then he is going to throw in some FYIs that you need to know about.
I do that.
Yeah, so that part is also very encouraging for you to watch this podcast so you can also learn about history. That was a subject I was not fond of. But it's also quite important because they always say history repeats itself. So,
but I don't blame you because we were flipping learning about the Renaissance. Who cares? Who cares what happened in France, right? I give a shit about France. I'll never visit that country. I also hated history. But how nice to learn about the history about Southern Africa. I'm fascinated by how, for example, the Zulu people were split in two by the Botswana-Zimbabwe border. So you got the Kwandebele on this side and you got the Matabele on that side. Am I right?
Yeah.
It was one tribe. They did a terrible thing by splitting them in two, but they developed into two separate subcultures. How cool is that? That's the kind of thing I want to know. I don't want to know about, some idiot king who's in France who got beheaded because his wife said, let them eat cake. What nonsense is that?
So these are the kind of discussions we'll be having in this podcast. Very fascinating indeed. So it's not limited to just a black person or white person. We want black, white, Indian, Chinese, everyone just to come on board. Let us know your story.
But not Malawi. Nobody likes Malawi people.
No, he's joking.
Malawi,
Zimbabwe.
Another dad joke.
Everyone, Swati, you name it. We are here about this podcast. We want to expand it as far as wide. It's Afripreneur for a reason.
Africa is rich.
It is very rich.
Africa is rich in everything. You look at resources under the ground, above the ground, human
Yeah.
resources. Africa
And we have enough
is-
knowledge, of our own.
What's lacking? Trick question. What is lacking? Why aren't more African youngsters, young men and ladies becoming entrepreneurs?
I think it's what we feed ourselves on a daily basis. The things we watch on social media, the things that consume our time. Majority of the things that are on social media is not educational information. It's things that are meant to distract you as an individual. So if it starts there, then it's working in favor of the people who are in charge.
So what we need to do is put boots on the ground, get into action, mobilize.
Because in China, I've heard that their social media, if you had to just even spend a day scrolling, it's just children learning how to put things together.
I love what China has done. Really, I just love, and I think that should be an example to us. China has built up such a powerful economy, right?
Yeah.
Remember when the British left China in the early 20th century, it was a poor country.
Yeah.
They raped it, they ravaged it, they took everything. Same with India. But these countries came up. And I was listening to one stat, and I think young people should know this. In the 1980s, Europe's GDP was 8 times China's GDP in the 1980s.
Oh, wow.
Today, China has caught up with them. From 8 times, China is
Wow.
equaled. And they say by 2035, China will be 4 times Europe's economy, their GDP. And how did they do this? How many wars did they fight? How many people did they go and kill? Not one.
Exactly.
It was just through business. Now you look at all the countries. India was the same. China, Turkey, Iran, who everybody hates right now. But they all came up through business. Let's do business together.
And it was all starting from grooming the child from a young age to be independent thinkers, to solve problems.
Solve
That's just
problems.
how it started, yeah.
But some people, won't mention who, haven't come out of the caves yet and still feel they have to take their clubs and go and beat other people and take their oil and take their natural resources. And if they don't pay attention, yeah, it's a fact. It's a fact.
Yeah.
The world
Can't
is
avoid it.
frustrated. Africa is the victim of this also. But the only way to come out of it is through entrepreneurship. Who better to mine Africa's natural resources than the Africans themselves? Why do we need foreign investment?
Yeah.
You guys can do it. And I say you, I mean young Africans. So have we started today's topic? Today's episode, or are we finishing today's episode?
Yeah, this is just basically summing it up. We've spoken about a lot of things actually in these few minutes, but yeah, this is actually what you can expect and more with every other episode going forward. I think we did pretty well. What do you think?
I hope so. Let's see what the people say.
Yeah.
Let the people talk. That's the thing. And so I'm looking forward also, you mentioned we're going to have guests.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to having guests. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, speak to the brain. It's not fair. You got the looks and you got the brain. Okay, fine. I'll settle to just be
That's me.
Your Robin to your Batman.
But thank you so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure.
We'll be doing this soon again. And please do interact with us and let us know. Give us ideas, actually. What is it that you want to hear? Who do you want to hear from? And what topics are of interest to you?
Yeah, we need to know that we are not flying over your heads, and we're talking especially things that are relevant to you.
Yeah.
And that's why I find this relationship, because whenever we talk, I always go away thinking, wow, I never really thought how important that is. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. And as you can see, I'm clearly enjoying myself here.
Yeah. So here's the first to many.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for listening if you came this far.